Germany has a law for bread, not a guideline, not a tradition, a law. The Reinheitsgebot, the beer purity law of 1516, was enacted in Bavaria to regulate the ingredients of beer. It declared that wheat could only be used for brewing, not for baking. In one legislative stroke, an entire nation's bread culture was redirected toward rye. And from that rye, from the cold northern soils where wheat struggled to grow, from the dark forests and frost-hardened fields of Westphalia and Saxony, Emmeibrinken became the most diverse bread culture in human history. Over 3,200 officially registered bread varieties, more than any other country on earth, and the only bread tradition in the world recognized by UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage. In 2014, UNESCO inscribed German bread culture into its list. Not German music, not German philosophy, not German engineering. German bread. This is every German bread you should know about, including the one whose name means farting devil. The North and the South. Before the individual breads, one fact matters above all others. Germany bakes differently depending on which direction you face. In the north, Brandenburg, Westphalia, Saxony, the soil is too cold and poor for wheat. Rye thrived where wheat could not, and rye, unlike wheat, contains almost no gluten, which means it cannot rise through yeast alone. It requires sourdough, long, slow fermentation, acids that develop over 12, 24, sometimes 48 hours. The result is bread that is dense, dark, slightly sour, and built for survival. Bread that lasts for days without hardening. Bread that sustained armies, farmers, and centuries. In the south, Bavaria, Baden-Württemberg, the climate is warmer, the soils richer, wheat grew, and with wheat came lighter loaves, softer rolls, sweeter flavors, bread for pleasure as much as sustenance. North versus south, rye versus wheat, dense versus light. This division runs through every loaf in this video. Pumpernickel, Westphalia, the oldest and darkest bread in Germany, and the one whose name requires an explanation. The name pumpernickel comes from two German words, pumpern, an old German verb meaning to break wind, nickel, an old German name for the devil, or a goblin. Pumpernickel means farting devil. The bread was first mentioned in print in 1450. Its original German name was Krankbrot, sick bread, which gives you some indication of how it was received by those who had to eat it. It was peasant food, eaten by poor farmers and their horses alike because it was made from the coarsest rye grain with almost nothing else, just water and salt. No yeast, no sourdough, just rye, water, and thyme. The most famous bakery for pumpernickel was established in Westphalia in 1570. According to legend, the recipe was discovered by accident when a baker, leaving for battle, bricked up his oven to prevent looting. The dough inside was forgotten. When the baker returned, he found it had baked slowly in the residual heat, emerging dark, dense, and strangely delicious. The traditional pumpernickel is baked for 16 to 24 hours at only 120 degrees Celsius. No oven in a home kitchen can replicate this. The low temperature causes the Maillard reaction to work slowly. The natural sugars in the rye caramelize over many hours, producing the dark color, the slight sweetness, and the flavor notes of dark chocolate and coffee that make authentic pumpernickel unlike anything else in the world. No coloring agents, no additives, just rye grain, water, salt, and 24 hours. Napoleon reportedly declared it fit only for his horse Nickel, though historians note the story predates Napoleon and was probably a German joke long before any French emperor set foot in Westphalia. The farting devil survived them all. It is still being made today, in the same region by the same families using the same process. How to eat it? Sliced thin, paper thin if possible, with cream cheese and smoked salmon, with good butter and a pinch of coarse salt. This is not sandwich bread. This is a platform for other flavors. Dense, complex, and extraordinary. Vollkornbrot. Whole grain bread. The bread that Germany made into a national principle. Vollkorn means whole grain, and in Germany, the word is regulated by law. A bread labeled Vollkornbrot must contain at least 90% whole grain flour, not 80%, not 85%, 90%. The government specified the number. The grain philosophy of Germany runs deep. For centuries, Northern German bakers used the entire grain, bran, germ, endosperm, because nothing could be wasted. The poor could not afford to mill away the outer layers. What began as necessity became identity. The dense, chewy, nutrient-rich Vollkornbrot that German children grow up eating is the same bread that German farmers carried to the fields in the 17th century. Today, Vollkornbrot is made in hundreds of regional variations, with sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, linseed, oats, spelt, barley. Each baker adds what is local and available. The legal definition ensures the minimum. The tradition delivers everything above it. How to eat it: sliced thick, with good butter, with aged cheese, with a fried egg on top for the classic German breakfast. With honey if you want to understand why something so dense can taste so satisfying. Schwarzbrot, black bread, the bread that divided Germany by class for 6 centuries. In medieval Germany, the color of your bread announced your status. White bread, wheat bread, was for nobility. The light loaf, the refined loaf, the loaf that required expensive imported grain or warm southern soil. Dark bread, Schwarzbrot, was for everyone else. Made from rye, dense, dark, filling. The bread of farmers, soldiers, and servants. The distinction was so embedded that German social hierarchies were literally visible at the table. You could tell a person's position in society by the color of what they ate. Over time, the geography of German bread culture reflected this history. Northern Germany, poorer soils, colder climate, more rye, developed into the stronghold of Schwarzbrot. Southern Germany, richer land, warmer weather, favored lighter breads. The division persists today not as class distinction, but as regional identity. A Westphalian will defend dark bread with the same passion a Bavarian defends the Brötchen. Schwarzbrot today is typically a blend of rye and wheat, dark but less extreme than Pumpernickel, with a moist interior and a firm crust that keeps for days without drying out. How to eat it. The classic German Abendbrot, the evening bread meal, is built around Schwarzbrot, sliced, laid flat on a board, topped with cold cuts, cheese, pickles, and butter. Not heated, not toasted, just bread, cold food, and a good evening. Brötchen, the small, crusty roll that Germany eats for breakfast every single morning. The word means little bread. In Bavaria, they call it a Semmel. In Berlin, they call it a Schrippe. In Cologne, they call it a Weckchen. Every region has its own name. Every bakery has its own recipe. Brötchen are what Germany bakes before dawn. In every city, every town, every village, German bakeries open at 5 or 6 in the morning, sometimes earlier, to have fresh Brötchen on the counter before the first customer arrives. Germans do not toast their breakfast bread. They do not slice it and add it to a toaster. They go to the bakery. On Sunday mornings, the act of buying fresh Brötchen is close to a national ritual. The Brötchen must be fresh, not from yesterday, not from this afternoon, from this morning. The crust, thin, crispy, crackling when you break it, begins to soften within hours. By the afternoon, a Brötchen is already past its peak. A fresh Brötchen is a cultural standard in Germany. In a country of 200 bread varieties, this humble roll, flour, water, yeast, salt, is the one eaten every single morning. How to eat it: broken open, not sliced, with butter and jam for a sweet version, with cold cuts and cheese for savory, with a soft-boiled egg alongside, eaten at the table, without hurry, as the first act of the German day. Pretzel, the Bavarian pretzel, the most recognizable shape in the entire world of bread. The pretzel shape is so specific, so unique, that its origin has generated centuries of competing legends. The most persistent story says it was invented by a monk. The crossed loops of dough were meant to represent the crossed arms of a person in prayer. The three holes represented the Holy Trinity. It was, the legend goes, a bread designed for spiritual contemplation. Whether or not this is true, and historians are divided, the pretzel has been documented in Bavaria since at least the 12th century. The defining characteristic of a German pretzel is not its shape, it is the lye bath. Before baking, the shaped pretzel dough is submerged in a solution of lye, a strong alkaline liquid. The lye reacts with the outer surface of the dough, changing its chemical structure so that it bakes into a deep mahogany brown, darker than any bread that could be achieved by heat alone, with a thin, lacquered-looking crust and a soft, chewy interior. This chemical transformation is what makes a pretzel a pretzel. Without the lye, it is simply twisted bread. With the lye, it becomes something impossible to replicate by any other method. The coarse rock salt pressed onto the surface before baking is the final act. Salt on an alkaline crust, over a soft interior. The combination of flavors and textures has not been improved upon in 9 centuries. How to eat it: warm from the oven with soft salted butter. In Bavaria, eaten at a Brotzeit, the mid-morning bread break, alongside white sausage and a glass of wheat beer. This is not a snack. In Bavaria, this is a meal. Bauernbrot, farmer's bread, the bread that Germany refused to let become uniform. The word means farmer's bread. And unlike Pumpernickel or Vollkornbrot, which have specific definitions and regional protections, Bauernbrot is defined by what it is not. It is not factory bread. It is not standardized. It is not the same from one bakery to the next. Every German baker who makes Bauernbrot makes it slightly differently. Different ratios of rye to wheat. Different sourdough starters. Some passed down through generations. Different crust treatments, different shapes. The common elements are sourdough fermentation, a mix of rye and wheat flour, a thick, crackling crust, and a dense, moist interior that keeps for up to a week. In a country that has legally defined and protected hundreds of its bread varieties, Bauernbrot remains deliberately free. It is the bread that individual bakers own completely. Their name on the loaf, their recipe, their tradition, how to eat it, sliced thick, with strong cheese, with a bowl of German lentil soup alongside. The week-long shelf life is not a coincidence. It was designed for farmers who baked once and needed the bread to last until the next baking day. Dinkel, spelt bread, the ancient grain that southern Germany never abandoned. While northern Germany built its bread culture on rye, southern Germany, particularly Baden-Württemberg and parts of Bavaria, maintained a loyalty to spelt that the rest of the world largely forgot. Spelt is one of the oldest cultivated grains. It was grown in Germany as early as 4000 BC. During the 19th century, when modern wheat varieties became dominant, spelt production declined sharply across Europe. But in the Swabian Alb region of Baden-Württemberg, farmers kept growing it, not as tradition for tradition's sake, but because the flavor was better. Spelt has a nuttier, more complex taste than modern wheat. Its gluten structure is different, more fragile, which makes the dough harder to work with. But the resulting bread has a depth that commercial wheat flour cannot match. Today, Spelt bread is experiencing a renaissance across Germany. Driven partly by artisan bakers, partly by those who find they tolerate it better than modern wheat. What is certain is that a loaf made from spelt flour tastes like what bread tasted like before industrial milling changed everything. How to eat it. As a sandwich loaf, spelt makes excellent toast. The nuttier flavor pairs particularly well with smoked meats and strong cheeses. Buy it from a bakery that mills its own spelt. The difference from supermarket spelt bread is significant. 8 breads, 8 stories. One country. Germany did not make a bread culture by accident. It made one through geography. Cold northern soils that demanded rye. Through law, the 1516 Beer Purity Act that redirected wheat. Through history, the 30 Years' War, the peasant economies, the regional guilds. Through stubbornness, the farmer in Westphalia, who kept baking pumpernickel for 24 hours when every industrial bakery said it was impractical. And through something harder to define, the conviction that bread is not just food. Every German household consumes an average of 56 kilograms of bread per year, not 56 kilograms of wheat, not 56 kilograms of carbohydrates, 56 kilograms of bread. Specific, regional, traditional bread. Germany is the only country on earth where a certified Brot proofer, a bread inspector, exists as an official profession, where tasting bread and evaluating it against a standard is a recognized expertise. 3,200 varieties, UNESCO recognition, a bread law from 1516, a bread whose name means farting devil, and 56 kilograms per household, per year, that the Germans will defend with the same confidence they defend everything else they consider worth defending. Next video, the science of fermentation. How a 6,000-year-old biological process built the flavors of bread, wine, cheese, and civilization itself. Subscribe so you don't miss it.